All right, people, listen up. Grab your coffee, find a seat, let's get this started. For those of you I haven't had the pleasure of meeting, I'm Dr. Damian Wolf, and I want to welcome you to what is, no exaggeration, probably the single most important briefing of your entire foundation career. We are not just updating a few protocols today. Oh no. We are fundamentally redefining the world we operate in. So let's just dive right in.
I want you to take everything you think you know about secure, contain, protect, and just set it aside for a minute. For decades, our focus has been on the thing in the cell, right? The anomaly. Well, we were looking in the wrong direction. The real monster isn't what's in the box. It's the box itself. The walls, the site, this whole planet. The very fabric of reality that we've always taken for granted. And folks, that fabric is starting to get thin. It's starting to break.
Now, to really wrap your head around this new threat, we have to go back. We have to deconstruct one of our greatest hits, our biggest myth. We need to talk about SCP-096, but not the 096 from the official file. No, that thing is a sanitized story, a fairy tale we told ourselves so we could sleep a little better at night. The truth? Well, the truth is a whole lot worse.
I mean, just look at the difference here. It's almost laughable. On the left, you've got our nice, neat, tidy assessment. Euclid, docile, not sapient. It sounds manageable, right? And on the right, you have the screaming truth from the poor souls in the field, tore through them like tissue paper, a skeleton that is physically indestructible. And it's not just angry, it's in a state of pure conceptual agony. The file isn't just wrong, it's dangerously, fundamentally wrong.
This is a direct quote from the commander of the very first retrieval team, Zulu 9A. I want you to really hear this. Half of its torso gone. Its organs were gone, its blood, everything that makes a living thing live. But it didn't stop. It didn't even slow down. So what kind of thing is that? What kind of creature just ignores that kind of damage? Well, I'll tell you what it's not. It's not biological. It's playing by a completely different rulebook.
600. That's the number. The door gunner on that retrieval op pumped 650 caliber rounds into 096 in just 20 seconds. The effect? Nothing. Absolutely nothing. Might as well have been throwing spitballs at it. That isn't just tough. That's a violation of the rules. And for years, we never stopped to ask the really important question. A violation of what exactly?
And the answer, funny enough, it didn't come from some high-level experiment. It came at 2 o'clock in the morning, in the most boring, mundane place you can imagine, the Site-19 canteen. The last place on Earth we ever expected the universe to, well, to show us its seams. This whole thing took place in under 40 seconds. It started with a pressure drop, so sudden it made your ears pop. And then, total silence. And then, there was a crack. Not a sound you hear with your ears, but a feeling. The feeling of something fundamental breaking. The very air in the room shattered like a pane of glass. And underneath the linoleum floor, there was just this hungry, empty void. And then, things started crawling out.
Dr. Harleen, our top containment physicist, was there with me. She measures the Hume field. Now, for those of you who aren't familiar, think of it like reality's blood pressure. 100 is normal, stable. What she saw was a drop to 34. That isn't just a dip. That's a catastrophic event. It means the laws of physics basically took an unscheduled smoke break. And her conclusion? It's the scariest part of this whole mess. The slack is gone. Our reality, our universe, it's lost its flexibility. It's become brittle.
And this is the question that changes everything. This is where it all snapped into focus. We've been treating 096 like it's this unique, one-of-a-kind monster, a singular disease. But what if it's not the disease at all? What if it's just the first, most obvious symptom of a much, much bigger sickness? What if it's a piece of that same nothingness we saw in the canteen that just got stuck over here?
Which leads us here, to the brittle world hypothesis. This is the theory that the very foundation of our universe, the weave, is getting worn out, getting thin, and it's starting to crack under the strain of all the anomalies we're trying to contain. And this isn't just a theory anymore. We now have cold, hard, terrifying proof.
Remember those things that climbed out of the floor in the canteen? We got them on camera. We ran a full morphological analysis, comparing them to SCP-096. And, well, look at the chart. 94% skeletal match, identical skin, jaw, limbs. Let me be perfectly clear. These aren't cousins. This is the same species. Our shy guy, he's not an only child. He's part of a whole ecosystem living just on the other side of that cracking wall.
This is the true enemy. We're calling it conceptual decay. And you know what? This is the pestilence that SCP-049 has been rambling about for years. It's not a virus, it's not a plague. He can literally see these tiny cracks forming in the world around us. He's not trying to cure people, he's been trying to cure reality itself. We just weren't smart enough to listen.
And this finally explains the trigger. Why does it hate being seen? It's not malice, it's a system error. Think of our reality as a computer's operating system, and 096, it's a corrupted file. When you look at its face, your consciousness is like a double click. You're forcing the system to try and run a program it cannot understand. And that conflict, it causes immense, unimaginable pain to the file itself. So it doesn't kill you because it's evil. It kills you to make the pain stop, to close the program.
So this was our hypothesis. Terrifying, I know, but we're the foundation. We don't just sit on terrifying hypotheses. We design insane experiments to test them. The big question was, if 096 is a bug in a weak reality, what happens if we make that reality strong? We needed an anchor, and lucky for us, we had POI 7420, our very own Astral Knight.
The plan was bold. It was simple, but the stakes were astronomical. We had Poise 7420, you all know him as Brian, use one of his thaumaturgical abilities to basically reinforce the reality inside 096's containment cell. Then we did the one thing you are never ever supposed to do. We showed 096 its own face on purpose. The goal wasn't just to survive it, it was to record exactly how a stable reality behaves to find its golden frequency.
The results were mind-blowing. A typical 096 breach tears reality apart. The local Hume level drops to around 14. That's how it walks through solid steel. But with Brian's anchor active, the Hume level shot up to 150. He didn't just patch the wall of the cell, he turned the very fabric of space-time inside that cell into reinforced concrete.
64. That's how many times that unstoppable creature slammed its body into that anchored wall. 64 times. And the result? Not a scratch, not a dent. For the first time in its existence, SCP-096 learned what it felt like to be told no by the laws of physics. The anchor held.
And that successful test, that single moment, gave birth to the Astral Anchor program. We did it. We have the blueprint. We have that golden frequency we recorded. We can build machines that can literally stitch the universe back together. But there's always a but, isn't there? Every time we make one spot stronger, we're pulling the threads tighter somewhere else. And that kind of tension, it gets noticed.
This right here is the future of containment, the Astral Anchor Array. Think of it as a Scranton reality anchor that's been juicing. We've tuned our existing tech to that specific harmonic we recorded, creating a high-density buffer that just doesn't allow for reality to break. It forces it to stay solid.
And here's the catch. This comes directly from 054. When we create one of these little pockets of absolute, perfect, reinforced order, it shines. In the metaphysical dark, it's like setting off a flare. The very act of making our walls stronger tells everything on the other side exactly where we are. We might stop one thing from getting out, but we might just be inviting a whole lot more to come knocking. Which finally brings us to you, to why you are all sitting here today. This isn't just some high-concept physics problem anymore. This is your new day-to-day reality. You have to learn how to survive in a brittle world, and that means developing new senses, new instincts. So pay close attention, because what I'm about to tell you will save your life. I want you to memorize these signs, burn them into your brain. That sudden drop in pressure that makes your ears pop for no reason. A sound like ice cracking, but there's nothing there. That deep, primal feeling of dread in your gut that tells you a predator is nearby. If you experience any of these, it's already started. A fracture is opening.
When you see those signs, this is the new protocol. It's called Code Umber Fracture. First, and this is the most important part, do not panic. Your own fear makes you conceptually lighter, an easier target. Freeze, do not move. Hit the button on your new emergency reality beacon, and for the love of all that is holy, do not look at whatever comes through. This is not optional. Following these steps is the only thing that will keep you from being deleted.
So, we did it. We found a way to reinforce the cage. But every single Astral Anchor we turn on is another loud knock on the door of that silent, empty void. We've just gotten really, really good at announcing our location to whatever lives there. The question you need to walk out of here with is, what happens when they finally decide to answer? Dismissed.